Hello everyone and welcome back. So this week I have a little bit of a plan. Well, I've wanted to do this for a while, but I was kind of to-ing and fro-ing from it, so we're doing it now, is what we're doing. Now I have lots of polystyrene here. I have glue for polystyrene. Never glued polystyrene together. This is the one that came up online, so we'll see. And this, which is a foam cutter, which heats up and you can kind of cut with the heat rather than using a knife or a saw or scissors, because that's going to get really messy. So we've got this. Now my plan is to make a hat block. I have hat blocks. In fact, hold on a second. I'm back. I have hat blocks and we're going to use probably the 55 as the base so we can draw right around the bottom, so that we're going to get a size 55 with the foam. Now my plan here is to not have it this shape. What I want to do is make a witch's hat. I'd love to have designs that were witches' hats. So we're gonna play around with this a bit. I'm hoping that with the foam I can cut it to the right shape. Well, I want to go for in between a witch's pointy hat, but I don't want the point. And remember those girls that came to Hogwarts? I think they were from France, and they had the cute little blue hats that had the rounded pointy bit. I don't remember their names. Anyway, I want it in between pointy witchy and one of those. So that is the plan for this week. I'll take you guys along with me. It might not work. It might not, but we're learning together. So we'll see how it goes. Also, I am quite sunburnt from yesterday. That's why I look a little bit rosy, but it's fine. I'll remember to put cream on next time, I promise. Okay, let's get to it.
It's not a game, it's a rage thing.
Okay, so that took some time to get it to a rough shape. This bit was quite easy, getting it quite smooth. Doing this little knobbly bit at the top, not so easy. And the back. So I got this glue because it glues polystyrene together, but it still actually eats away at it, as you can see through the layers. So once I started cutting into it more, like here's fine, but then when I started taking away more and more, I was left with these big holes. So I think that this is going to get covered in cling film, and then we're going to stretch a hat and then try and stretch it over this to get a bit more of a shape. I might look at it now. I think maybe it needs a bit more of a curve in here, taking away a bit more of it. I'm really worried if I take away too much, then it's not going to work or it's not going to look right. So I think I'm going to have a little think about it and come back to it in a bit. Ooh. Okay, so we have the base of our witch's hat. There does seem to be one problem though. Although I've mostly got the shape that I was going for, I tried it with this. I have two like hat bodies. One is black and one is green, and I thought, I'm not going to go for traditional witch's hat black, so I'm going for the green. Also, the green is just slightly thinner. But I came across one problem, and that is that the hat block is actually not tall enough for me to be able to pull down on it. Now, I don't really want to be going and adding more bits to it. I might have to though. The other option I have is this. Let me go get this thing. So I have this, which is the bottom of one of my wooden hat blocks. Now I could possibly attach that onto there, but it still doesn't really give it that much more height. The other option is, which I'm not sure if it's going to work, is to use the stand as well, so that when I am pulling the hat down, I'm pulling it down past this, which gives me this gap of being able to get my hands in and pull it right down. So I'm gonna have a think about it and see what happens, because I would imagine a lot of pressure on this isn't gonna work. It might just fall to pieces. I ran into problems with this project from the very beginning. I've wrote them down so I don't forget them, but the first problem I ran into was with the burning tool, the wire burning tool, and it came and I was ready to start my project and it was an American adapter. So I had to go and buy American to the UK adapter. And I was like, fine, I'll spend £15 on this, and I had to wait 3 days for that to come in. So that happened. Then the glue on the foam was fine until you started cutting into it, which I showed you, and it just eats away at the inside, so I was left with holes. Not great, but okay, we can get on with that. Then I realised it wasn't tall enough, so I had to, as you seen in the video, plonk it on top of a upside down plant pot and use that to make it a bit taller for pushing the hat down. Oh, this wasn't an easy video to make, by the way. It was such a pain. The pins for the hat block don't go into polystyrene. They just kept popping out. You'd push them in and they'd come out because it can't hold it. It's not strong enough to hold it. So there was that. I also later on realised when I was trying to mould it to the hat that this is too much of a curve and I've taken away too much. And when I was trying to flatten it down and smooth it out, it gathered up fabric. So you do not get this nice smooth that you would get where here is there's bits of loose fabric. And you can't put that down unless you cut it and sewed it. And that's not what we're trying to do here. So it didn't work out. The hat is here in the background, looking really sad. I also decided that the point was too high up. It should have come from the back, more like this. So not a slight, do you know what I seen actually when I was sitting editing this video was this. How it's on a slight curve. Probably not explaining myself very well at the moment. I am quite tired. Okay, so anyway, this project, it didn't work out. Would I try it again? Yes, absolutely. I want to try it again because I want to make my own style of witch's hat. I don't think I would use polystyrene. One, the glue eats at it, doesn't make it strong enough. And two, the pins don't go in it. My other options would be to make a mold and maybe try expanding foam. That might work. Still, I'm not sure if the pins would stick in it. They might just pop out. I don't know. I've got a lot of thinking to do. Maybe you guys have done this before. I could come up with a better solution for this because I really want to make a witch's hat. But I'm struggling with having a block for it. I need that mold or something for it. I could buy another hat, make a mold from it, but I'd have to change it slightly, otherwise I'm using somebody else's design. So, this video didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to work out. Here is a quick look at this hat. As you can see, it did not work. So, it was a fail, but that's fine. These things happen. I think we've only failed maybe 3 times on this channel in 4 years, so that's not bad. But, as always guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. If you would like to subscribe, please do so. Leave a like, do whatever you want, man. It's fine. I'm tired. Thanks for coming and hanging out, and I will see you next week.